Hi all, Hal here with more Space Engineers, and we haven't gotten a whole lot done. Oh, we've gotten a lot of uranium mined and processed. We got a little bit more armor work done, and we are starting to fill in the last little bits of the ship. So we'll walk you through what's going on, give you a walk around of the entire ship since it's pretty much completely closed off at this point. But first, we have to get started. So let's go. So happy Wednesday, everybody. Hopefully you're having a fantastic day and a terrific week thus far. Oh, it has been a rather hectic week for me. So working on school stuff, working on the house, and mining the hell out of a bunch of stuff, the uranium, trying to get everything processed. We're pretty much out of uranium at this point, I think. We're pretty damn close, at least. Now, there's a little bit left in there, right? Let's see here. I think that's, yeah, that's a little nugget there left. So, like 2 minutes of mining and that's done. But I want to show you what we've got done so far. I don't know how much we've processed yet. I didn't take a look before I started recording. Usually I try to get an idea. So we've got about 10k left. So if we do 3,000, yeah, and do 150, yeah, there we go. Load balance it a little bit. We've got in standby, like we are right now, just orbiting, we've got almost a month of power. So we're pretty good for uranium right now. And we'll rebalance it and everything once all the refining is done. But I had a couple of people asking just how big the ship is. And to give you an idea, that antenna is mounted at about the midpoint. So from point to point, bow to stern, you're looking at almost 240-ish. Yeah, about 240 meters in total length, and it's going to be, I don't know, I want to say like 60 meters tall or something like that. 34, 35. So we'll split the difference, say 40 meters. So not too shabby, right? And width is going to be I want to say about 60, I think. I think we ended up with almost a 3-to-1 on the widest measure, main beam, I guess you would say. So yeah, it's been a week. All right, you know what? Let's do this. Let's progress time here a little bit. There you go. Not that it matters too much for us, because you know we're completely on uranium power at this point. We don't have any solar panels on board the ship. Oh, so what did we get done? We painted a little bit. That's pretty much it. I've been spending the rest of the time just mining stuff out and trying to get the armor plating a little bit more configured and figured out here. And I ran into an issue that I didn't think was going to be an issue until it was one. Yeah. So basically what we've run into is a situation here where things aren't necessarily matching up quite the way I would have liked them to. But that's okay, because you know we can make it work. So let's go ahead and do that. Now what I'm thinking here is we may do something like this. And then bring these out like so. And the idea is that I'm basically trying to fill in the spaces to bluff all of this out to give us a, what in the hell? Mining craft. That would be something to run into. But yeah, so what I'm trying to do is figure out a way to get things together and not have them be just, you know, completely out of place. Oh, so I'm kind of running into problems with that. Because one of the things that I'm thinking about doing is something like here, where we do this, and we'll repeat this on the other side, and basically we end up with something that looks a little something like this. And then that comes out here. And what I'm thinking I may do is I may actually blend these down so that this area stays mostly open. So what I'm thinking here is maybe something like this. And I may even take those half ramps out there. But the problem that we're going to run into is that if I do this, 1, 2, 3, I guess I could repipe this and put a connector here in the middle. That actually might work better, come to think of it. Because that would be... so if we have... yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So what I'm thinking here, and hopefully this doesn't vent the entirety of to space. Oh, I forgot about that merge block being there. Merge block, be gone. Alright. Oh, I think that's just an armor block behind there, if I remember correctly. So what we're going to do is we're going to say that I'm going to grab some plates. I'm going to grab some interior plates specifically. And we are going to run a couple of conveyor junctions here. Mainly because this lets us go like so. And then we put a connector here. Right. And what we're going to have to do is, what we'll end up doing, I should say, is we'll end up welding all of this up. And then that'll give us an active connector here. We can take this connector out and we'll move the ship over. And the idea is that this actually will open up a little bit for having a, I guess you could say like a more permanent docking solution. Because one of the things that I want to do, as much as I actually do love this mining craft, there are some changes to it that I would make only because of the fact that they did a really good job. The developer or the designer did a really good job in maximizing space. But what I would like to see is maybe something that is a little bit more compact. Because you know how you have the thrusters that are way out on the side here. So I'd probably like to pull this thing apart and make something that's a little bit more compatible with the ship that we have. Because I would really like to be able to have something that tucks up in here. And talking to one of, I don't remember, I'm trying to remember who suggested it, but I apologize for because I don't have the window open right now. I'll take a look at it. But one of the community has been saying, what I should do is something with like maybe a merge block and greeble it so that the whole thing looks like, it's part of one ship, and then you separate it and you now have two ships. And I had said at the time that I was kind of wanting to shy away from that kind of design, mainly because of the fact that I didn't want to have a situation where, this became an all-in-one ship. The idea behind this ship originally was that it was pretty much combat focused, and that it would have the ability to dock other ships. And then the more I thought about it, it was like, I'm not really doing anything in multiplayer, so it's kind of detrimental having multiple ships, at least multiple, unique ships. So having something that is more of a mobile combat base might not be a bad idea. So I am rethinking what I had said to that person. Oh, but we'll see how all this plays out. Like I said, it was definitely an interesting idea for me, and I wasn't really sure how I wanted to deal with all of it. But I do want to bring, like, some of the structure I want to bring in so that it actually becomes more supportive. So we end up with stuff like that's going to go there. So if we did something like that, maybe, and then just tie that all together. I don't know. I might actually take those out and put the half ramps in there. Let's see what that looks like. If we did that, and we go with these instead. Well, I'm kind of liking that, actually. That might work. Okay, let's go with that idea for now.
Energy low.
You're blocked off because reasons. There we go. And so if we repeat that on both sides, so that goes one behind. So that goes there. That goes there. Alright. And so we're going to come back this way. How did we deal with that on the other side? We did those. Huh? Okay. And that is fine. That is fine. Okay. You guys are going to go that way. And we're going to have to move that ship out so that we can get to the rest of this area, but that's okay, because we're just, like I said, we're just trying to finish this stuff off and get it, get it sorted out, as it were. Okay. I think we did already do that. Yes, we did. Okay. And what I may do is I may do some venting work or something in here. Basically using the old windows. What do they call those things? I can never remember. These guys. The old vertical window and the diagonal window. Yeah, so the old...
critical.
That basically allows me to wrap stuff in here to fill in the space without having it actually be filled in. So, you know, I guess that's probably a bad way of saying it, honestly. But basically it'll allow us to have some, I guess for lack of a better term, cover. I don't know if that's the way I want to say it or not. But anyway. Alright, let me get in the cockpit really quick. Oh, hello. Yeah, see, that I think that's looking better. It's definitely looking more finished now. How many... Do I have any plates left in here? No. Do I have any iron? We got 6K of iron there. Aha, okay. $22K, so we should have enough. Yep. I mean, I could go 3K entirely, but I'm gonna have to go grab some iron and stuff anyway. Alright, so plans for this week. This episode's obviously going to be shorter than normal because of the fact that I'm just kind of waiting for things to process and we need to go do more mining. But I didn't want to leave you with a dead day in the week. So we'll take a look around the entire ship. I don't think we've done a complete stem to stern, bow to stern walkthrough, so we'll do that. I need to actually open up the front while we're in here. We're going to forward main cannon launcher doors, open those up. Okay. We are fully charged. We're letting little bits go ahead and get crafted up. While we are here, let me grab plates. Ah, some. Bob always knows when I'm reaching for the plates. What's nice is that we're almost to the point where Bob's going to come out of here. And once we're done, Bob goes away. Alright, so let's go ahead and get that there. That is all factored in. So we've got some miscellaneous stuff over here to deal with, which is fine. We're gonna end up, I'm going to basically recreate what we have over there over here, so it'll be rotating these 90 degrees and then reproducing them over here, so we end up with that same little indent divot looking thing. Mainly just because I like the way that looks. Alright, so let's give you the complete tour of the ship. A lot of people have been asking. They wanted to see, you know, from one side to the other, right? So coming through, we have the main cannon area. These are actually scheduled, this entire welding array here is scheduled to be moved up one block. But you have your main cannon chamber. Now the ship is mirrored between both starboard and port. I think let's go port side. Your first airlock brings you into the forward observation area. The space is just set up to basically be here. I haven't really done any lighting in here yet. That's the other thing I wanted to work on between now and the end of the week, is getting some lighting in here, because as you can see it's rather dark currently, but you know, it's not bad. It's got a nice view to it. You can see a little bit of stuff out here. You can see what's going on forward, and we do have a little bit of extra protection over the window in the shape of that sloped, the old style shutter window. Moving aft, if you go upwards, you have the upper area for observation, for the main Bombay observation area, with the entrance, or I guess you could say the exit, the doors leading to the upper docking pad, which I still haven't piped in. I don't know if I'm going to pipe it in or not, quite honestly. I'm kind of liking the way it is right now, but I may end up piping that in. Right now it's basically just a position for people to have a shuttle land and board and disembark. So going through either of these doors heading aft, you have the hallway to the hangar. And we can go ahead and open that. The hangar is fully pressurized. We have the 2 docking collars. And there is actually room available that if we wanted to, we could run a pipe vertical and then have it run into the center line up here and have basically upper docking collars. So you could, if you wanted to have one of these fitted out for fighters. Some of the fighters have dual connectors where they have a connector on the top and bottom, just kind of sandwiched together. And this would allow you to have those types of fighters in here. So you could have you could have up to 4 easily, like medium-sized vehicles, or a whole lot of small vehicles, depending on your build style and the options that you decided to include with them. Alright. We're going to go ahead and keep those closed because the hangars open quite frequently. You have the ladder up into the actual engineering, port side engineering in this case. Our jump drives, which we have 2, which are on this side, and we have 2 on the starboard side. It looks like we might have had some damage carry through. Do we have the damage? No, I guess not. That's just the weird texture. Okay. Now we do have everything over here set up with the railings and walkways and such. I haven't done this process on the starboard side yet. So where you have a lot of walkways and things, this is basically what it's going to look like on the starboard side as well. Our gyro array. Heading aft. This takes us out into the descent thruster area, which is, out there. Also the, actually I guess we can go out that way. This takes us, those are the other side of the thrusters. Now we do have a passageway that's 1 block up that runs between those thrusters, which takes you down eventually into that back stairwell that we built a while back. Heading this way brings you up into the observation, well, the aft inner observation area. Gravity generator. And I was explaining to a Dredden, actually, he swung by over the weekend and took a look at the ship with where we were. And he was asking, well, why don't I have these blocks all the way filled up? And I was like, yeah, if something does enough damage to penetrate to this point, 1 or 2 more armor blocks, not really going to do much of a difference, Because basically, I have a feeling that if I gave a copy to somebody like Waste It, some of the things that he builds would just cut the ship in half, no matter how much armor I put on it. Oh, but we do have access to the to the inventory system back here. And then we have our assault team spawn area, the remote area, all of our programmable blocks, which I don't think we're using any of right now. Generally, I've taken on the what I do now as a standard thing is that any programmable block that I use, I will change the main display to show a different image. That way I know what's there. And then I'll usually do the keyboard will have a just a text on it that'll have like a shorthand of whatever the program that is running. Or I'll do a graphic, like the no access graphic on the keyboard, and then a script description in the main display. It just depends on if I remember to do it or not. So as these fill up with scripts, that's what you're going to see. Which brings us back out here. And again, we are mirrored between port and starboard, so I'm not going to take you over to the starboard side. One of the things that we did decide to do, and we were working on this last time on Monday's video, is we now have access ways through pretty much the entire ship. Think of it as a Jeffries tube, I guess you could think. Which this is actually the hangar bay that we were in earlier, and you can see we can get almost all the way around the ship, which is important because one of the design methodologies for this build was that we wanted to have it set up so that you could get around pretty much the entire ship without actually going outside or being exposed to space directly. Now you are going to run into situations where, like, if we had a hole here, yeah, you're going to have space there, but you know, you can do the repair work from inside, and that's a very important design aspect for me on this build. And then if I really want to, I can cross over here. We are going to put some stairs in back here. I just don't have the materials with me to do that, because I have to build construction components, I think, for those. But that brings us over on this side. We're on the starboard engine side. We've got our hydrogen tanks. But yeah, so it's nice because it allows us to get all sorts of stuff. That's our contracts, which I thought I had. Did we? Let's do this really quick. 2 and 3. Okay, so you and you are going to go away. Oh, looks like we just depressurized something. Oh, that's directly below the air vent, that's why. Alright, let's I'm gonna strip a little bit of armor out of here. Didn't mean to depressurize the ship. Hey, I heard it repressurize. That's good. Okay. And yeah, because everything in the ship is open, we just depressurized the entire ship. Oh. Silly Panda, right? Alright. And basically what that's to do is, so when I'm walking around in here, I know if I'm on port or starboard side. And I may end up filling some of this in. I don't know. I might just put some stairs in here and be done with it. Because I do like the fact that we can get in here in the case that we need to at any point in time. So, yeah, we'll leave it like it is for now. Okay. Head back in. Nice thing is that we had enough oxygen in storage that we could repressurize everything. So you come up into the break room, which, we have our table. On this side, we have the actual food systems. You have your walkway up to the bridge, right? The fly bridge. Yay. Now, I am going to do a second version of the ship once this is done, where I pull these the DLC blocks out, and we'll end up using completely vanilla core game, no DLC. That was a request from several of you because of the fact that not everybody has the DLC or have all of the DLCs, and I'm quite fine with that. So yeah, I'll make sure to pull all the DLC content out of this for you. Now that does mean you're going to lose things like some of the tables and such, but it is what it is. All right, the opposing access to the upper landing pad. Coming down this flight, we are walking past the 6 aft thrusters. You have a small landing here that takes you down into the rear access, which is repressurized now. Contract system, so that you can check if you have any contracts. You can see what contracts you have if you do, if anybody wants to place contracts. Now, the nice thing is that if you wanted to do something where, say, this was a mobile base and you wanted to have it open to allies, you could put a second door here, like an additional door in here, to block this off and then deactivate the door and allow people to come in, take contracts. So if you were doing like a military roleplay scenario, they could come in, get contracts, and then head out without ever going through any portion of the actual interior of the ship, which is one of the reasons why it was set up like this. You then have med bay, and yes, this is an airlock here. And then this is the habitation wing, and on the both port and starboard side, the bunk areas do look into the hangars. So if somebody does break into the hangar, or they pull a Han Solo and they spoof the friend or foe ID of the ship. Basically, they jack one of your alliance ships, sneak in, dock in. You'll know when they get out. The inner secure hangar, and since everything is completely pressurized, we can walk in here. This is the small, like if you have VIPs or somebody bringing in confidential information, or very high value supplies, things like that, you'd be able to have them dock up in here. And then you have your external launchers and the main bomb bay. And the other launcher, that's the upper launcher and the bomb launcher. And that brings us back to where we started. So if you head all the way aft once more, let's go ahead and refill power since we're here. Come back this way, and you have the combat bridge, or lovingly known as the battle bridge. Now, this is one of the reasons why I was saying you might want to have another door back here, like right here, to block this off in case somebody does board. It does make for a pretty straight shot in, but the fact is that if they're gonna try and get in here, they're probably going to come straight through either the floor or the ceiling, because that's going to be, honestly, it'll be easier than going through the rest of the ship to get here. But you do have the flight seat, and then you have what will be weapon seats. If you notice, there are 6 of them, and that's mainly because of the fact that you can have somebody manning turrets, like the actual turret systems, or the bomb systems. the launchers. And since Space Engineers doesn't care where you are in the ship to give you an external view, it's a convenient excuse to have an external view. Alright, so that is where we are. The only thing that we really have left to do at this point is finishing the upper forward armor here on the up on the bow. That's because we are going to have to basically whoop. Oh, come on. There you go. Sorry about that. Basically, we're going to have to strip out that upper armor because we need to raise the welding array up one block. So that's going to change the upper area a little bit. But outside of that, that's pretty much all we have left to do at this point with the build. And then wrap the armor, the upper armor, around it. So yeah, I mean we're pretty much done at this point. Oh, so what we should have done the next time we get together on Friday, the external armor should be done. If not completely, then mostly. We'll clean up the back line here. There's some blocks that we're still missing down in those corners to smooth that out. We want it to be a nice smooth transition on both sides. Clean up that back area a little bit where those two conveyor connectors are, the conveyor junctions. We're going to put a couple of turrets in there so that we have some weapons off on the aft side. We're going to mount a couple of things down on the bottom. And I think that's about it. Everything else is just getting the weapon systems lined up for all of the projectors onto the merge block, so everything lines up nicely. And we're done. Okay. So, with that said, I'm going to get out of here. This episode, actually, the video took a little bit longer than I was originally planning. I wasn't planning on it running this long, so it's the middle of the night on Tuesday for me. And I'm going to get out of here. I want to thank you all for stopping and hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you hit that like button. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to throw those down in the section below. If you're new to the channel, haven't done so already, or just want to do something nice for me on this lovely Wednesday, be sure to hit that subscribe. And if you want to be kept up to date with new content as it comes out, be sure to click that little bell icon, and YouTube promises that they will send a little message to you to let you know that the new videos come out. Whether they actually do or not, that's on YouTube. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. I hope you all have a fantastic day. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll see you back here on Friday for more Space Engineers. As always, folks, take care and be safe out there, everybody. Okay, so we have to basically strip mine this asteroid for stuff, and we have to get some iron, which I think one of these guys had some iron in it, but I'll have to check. It might be one of the ones over there. It's gonna be a lot of mining.